Hello. Am I audible now?
Yes,
Yes.
yes,
Okay. So, good afternoon, all participants, and good afternoon, Kakoli ma'am, and welcome to you. This is the afternoon session of our training program, and Kakoli ma'am will be taking lecture on map composition in QGIS.
yes.
Uh, so there are, I think, 7 to 8 participants. So shall we wait for 5 more
Yeah,
minutes?
5 minutes will wait. Yeah.
Okay, we'll wait for 5 minutes. Some more participants have joined. So I think can we start the session?
Okay, ma'am. Yeah, we can. Am I audible to you all?
Yes, ma'am, you are audible.
Okay. So good afternoon again. And we had interaction yesterday. And today, what we'll be doing today is basically the hands-on on how to compose a map in the QGIS. So, what I will do is that I will show you the steps and with the data you have. I believe all of you have that indoor data which ma'am has shared to you. I will tell you how to add that data in the map layout and then how to compose the map. Okay, we will do it together side by side. Let me present my screen. Is my PowerPoint visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. Thank you for letting me know. Now, today we'll be doing the map composition. So you guys so far have created, shape files, created your own data, and then you made queries. Okay, within the data, you created attribute table. Sailesh sir has already informed me about that. Also, the data. In which you are creating your things like you are doing query building, spatial analysis. I think it is an indoor map. So now we will learn that after you are done with your map, so how you can compose that map so in a printable format. Okay, so there is a difference between a map and the image, because what is the main difference? A map always have a scale. Why? Because so that we can measure from one point to another point, and we know that how much is the distance on in actual ground, right? And also the map also have always a orientation, that is popularly known as a north line. We call all the maps are always oriented specifically in the GIS to the north, and that would be the north of the globe. That is not magnetic north. Magnetic north is a little bit different. So, without wasting any time, we go into that. First of all, I will talk about that what are the different map elements, So, when we talk about the map composition, it is basically adding the map element. As it is says that how to make a good map, introduction to basic map elements. In the QGIS, the draft of a map intended for printing or distribution is called a layout. And the layout mode facilitates map design by incorporating data frames and map elements. Okay. So what are these map elements? So what is basically it's talking about that so far you have worked with the map browser. Now, to make a printable map, you have to work with the map layout, So, as an architect, as a civil engineer, I believe all of you are familiar with the term layout. Layout means that now we are going to format the map so that it becomes a printable by adding the map element. And when we are in the layout mode, and that is also true for the other softwares too, like if any of you here are familiar with the Photoshop, there also we have to bring it in the layout, right? So first of most important map element obviously is the map scale. because map scale is the ratio or the proportion between the distances measured on map and the corresponding distances on the ground. Small scale map shows a large area on a single sheet, but their content less detail. Okay. For an example, like atlas map and wall maps, those maps we generally see at offices or in school, colleges. They are big maps, but they are generally called small scale map because entire India, specifically in India, we see India map hanging from the wall or the world map. Large scale maps provide a very detailed portrayal of an area by depicting small spatial features such as lamppost, manhole, etc. Now, types of map scale, one is representative fraction, is also a map scale where we show the scale into numeric ratio. Like here, the example given 1 is to 1 million. So the ratio to convert to ratio to the normal scale, we generally, what we do is that we put the same unit on the both side. So 1 centimeter on map represent 1 million centimeter on the ground, right? So that is the way. Another is the statement. Statement scale is the ratio between map distance and ground distance in words. It's the same like a representative fraction, only is that it is expressed through the word. Bar scale, linear graphical scale drawn on the map to facilitate the estimation of ground distances from measurements made on the map. So this is the one which we are going to use in our map composition. The plain graphical scale or bar scale is the simplest form of graphical scale shown in the form of straight line graph. The straight line is divided into number of equal parts, that is primary or secondary. For an example, in this map, what you are seeing on the left side, it is left bottom, it is the bar scale, right? And it is also called a graphical scale. Why it is bar scale? Because you can see a horizontal bar and it is divided into the primary division 0 to 1 and then 1 to 2. So the division of a 1 kilometer. What is secondary scale? Like this secondary division. So when the primary division is further divided, like here in this example, what you are seeing, the 0 to 100 is the primary division. Then there are the primary division is divided into more parts, that 0 to 50, 50 to 100, like this. Okay. The title reveals the map subject or the area covered by the map, the degree of prominence and visual interest given to the title through style, size, and boldness of the lettering must be fitted into the map's whole design and the objective. Legend, another element, explains the symbols, classes, and other information. When symbols are included in the legend, they should appear exactly as they look on the map. Otherwise, it will be the viewer will be fail to connect. The key map is something like which is very important when we produce map because it give us the wholesome idea that when we are talking about, if it is not a country map, then we have to provide a key map, right? Because key map gives us the idea where a particular place which we are showing is located within the India. Orientation, the statement of map orientation is represented by a direction indicator. In the GIS, direction indicators are represented by north arrow. And the graticule grid as I explained to you, probably yesterday, that the difference between the CAD and the GIS is that the GIS let you to include the lat long information which we provide through the projection, right? So if that is the main advantage, then why not include the grid? Because that's how what the GIS maps, from that aspect only the GIS map is different from a CAD map, right? So including the graticular grid is very important. And the GIS will do that automatically. You don't have to do it manually or anything like that. Like here, you know. So this is the map of the Ujjain. This is the graphical scale. This is the legend, not the row, title, key map, and on the outer side, the external marking you are seeing, that is the 23° 12' north, that is the latitude for the Ujjain, and 75° 42' east, that is the longitude. Okay, so in this way we show the grids of a map. So now we come back to the hands-on. I believe all of you have that this indoor map, right? And a lot of you that Sailesh sir told me are doing it side by side. So can you open the QGIS? And do you have this file, that indoor, which Sailesh sir has, given me, saying that this indoor data for for indoor data? Do you have all of you have this, right? This data
Yes, ma'am.
folder.
Yes, ma'am. Everybody is having.
Okay, okay, fine. So what you do is, like, you open now the QGIS, please. Can you all see my QGIS browser?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So open the QGIS, go to the project, and then go to the open, and then that folder, you navigate to the folder where you have stored that indoor data, and you will find one file called indoor QGZ. That is actually the project file. QGZ is the project file of the QGIS. So click on that and click on open. So it will open in your map browser like this. Let me know if it is open. All of you have been able to open this? Okay. Meena Kumari says yes, ma'am. Okay, fine. So after you open the project, so first what we'll do is that we are going to open the map in the layout, right? So in the, you go to the project and then new print layout, and you give it a name. Like I give a name of indoor map. Okay. So now this is the layout view. You can see is that of the QGIS, right? So what I will do is now when the layout is open, I have to need to add the map, right? So it says that you go to the main menu bar, project new print layout. We did it. Now layout title box will open. Put the title as a Ujjain or Indore. I was doing it with the Ujjain. So that's why I put the name Ujjain. And then we need to bring the map from QGIS to print composer window. To save the print composer layout, go to the main menu of print composer and then save. So we will go to the print composer and then we click on the save in the save button or in the you know uh, in the layout and then save. You can do it either way. Just click on the first save project button. Okay. And now to bring the map, what you are supposed to do is that go to the project and then if you need to close the print composer at any point of time, if you or accidentally it is being closed like this. Now if you think how I can bring it back, it's very easy. Go to the project and layout and the Indore map. The print composer will open again. Okay. So now I want to bring this map which is open in my GIS, in my QGIS browser, this Indore map in the layout view, right? So what I will do now is that I will go to the layout view, add item and add map. Layout view, main menu bar, add item and add map. And then holding the key, I just draw a rectangle. So see, my map is over here. Let me know when you are done bringing this map to the layout view from the main browser. Okay, Madhuri Mittal says done. Very good. So now what would be the next step? So we have that map. The next step will be that adding the elements. So now suppose we are like, we want to move this map on the left or right, any side. Now that if you want to move, the entire, layout view will move. Now suppose you want to move only the map. So what you will do, you will go to the layout, edit, and then select or move item. So if you click on that, it will move all the items. And now only is the content you want to move. You have to select the move content. Select and move item is automatically, selected. And to move the content, you have to click on the move content, right? So you can see here, I can only move the content over here. Sometimes it is necessary because on the right hand side you will be put the legend and all that stuff, and the left side you will be putting the the key map and all that stuff. Okay, so it is all understood by you all that if you want to move the select and move item is automatically selected like this, and if you want to just move the content only, then you have to select the move content and using that, left, pressing the left key on or on the hold, you just move the content of the map. All of you are following this? If there is any confusion, please ask me.
No, ma'am.
No, okay, fine. So now the next step is, just think that we want to make this map a little bit bigger, right? We have lot of space on the top and on the bottom. So why not make it a little bit bigger? So for that, what you have to do, you have to, on the right hand side, you have to click on the item properties, and then main properties. You can see if it is not expanded, you need to expand the main properties. Okay. And now if you make this scale bigger, then the map will get smaller. See? And if you get this scale smaller, the map will get bigger. Like this. Okay. So what does it mean? If the values of scale is higher, then it is a small scale map. If the values are like lower, then it is called the large scale map. It is just a kind of inversely related, you may say. So we want to make this map in that way so that it perfectly, fits in our layout. So I believe that is kind of a perfect size. You can play with it, and always make sure after you move the content, you select back to select move item. Otherwise what will happen is that if you click, you accidentally click in it, then the scale will get changed. You can always change back to the previous scale, but that's not something is back and forth. It will just disturb the scale you have made. So always make sure that select or move item button is the selected. Can you all follow this? Adjusting the scale. I'm giving you, 2 minutes or you are done. Okay, Madhuri again says she's following it really very in good way, I believe. Okay. So now that we are happy with the size of the map, the next thing is that we are going to select the elements. First of all, we add scale because that's the most important thing, right? So in the print composer, we call it a print composer in the QGIS, add item and add scale bar. So we click on that, add item and add scale bar. Click on that. So if now we just, draw a rectangle holding the left mouse key, we get a scale, graphical scale like this. See, it is visible to all of you. All of you have been able to insert a scale in the map.
Ma'am, could you please repeat it now?
Yeah.
Yes, please.
You go to the add item. In the main menu bar, add item. Then add scale bar. You click on that. And then the way you added the map, you just, holding the left mouse key, draw a rectangle. So after you finish drawing it, the scale bar will be added over here.
Yes, ma'am, it's come. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. So now we go to the scale properties, right? So we keep that scale bar selected because I can't really, read what is over there, what is, so I want to make the font size bigger. So while selecting the scale bar, I can select from the map itself, or I can select from this item listing. Okay. So there is a scale bar in the item listing, and then I select from there and go to the item properties. So first of all, unit, the main properties, the map, it is the scale of drawing for map 1. In our case, it's only one map, so it's not a very confusion over there. Then what do you want to know? What do you want to your scale to be? Double box like this, or a single box like this? You can choose according to that. And then unit, we always do, uh, the in the metric system, that kilometer, meter. Label unit multiplier, it's the 1 or it is the 2, like this, 0 to 5, 5 to 10, or it is 3, something like, which is very odd. We always take, scale unit as a whole integer. Okay, label for unit, kilometer, or you want km, or you want that entire kilometer. Okay. Then segment, if you want to add that, secondary on the left one, so we do have 0 to 5 and 0 to 5 over other side also. Lot of, in the map, you will see that that is the way they have done. And sometimes people say that's the correct way of doing it, but I don't really agree with that. And there is a fixed width, there is a height, there is a display. All these things, you can, uh, you know, change or modify from where the position, the size, all these things. If you want it to make it bigger or smaller. And the most important thing is that your scale, the unit should be, in the proper way. And that is, to me, is the most important thing. So number format also you can customize, whether you want decimal places or something like that, all these things. So after that, what will be our next job is that our next job will be to add a frame to the, your map. So what we'll do is that we are going to add the frame. To do that, we select the map, or over select over here, and at the bottom there is like frame, and we check the box against the frame. And in the frame you can select the color or thickness, so all these options are available to you. So that is the frame of our map. So we want to put the scale inside the frame, obviously not to go outside. And we can, move the content a little bit so that scale is visible. All of you have been able to add the frame to your map.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So what is the next step? Next step is adding the grid. So adding grid means the adding latitude and longitude on the map. As mentioned in the beginning of chapter, adding geographic reference makes GIS superior to AutoCAD drawing. And to add grids, select map 2 on the main Ujjain map, click on the item properties tab, scroll down to grids, and then triangle left to grid to open the grid properties. So what we have to do is that we select on the map over here, right? And then what we see is that we have a grid option over there. So expand this grid. Can you all see this grid option on the right hand side panel of the item properties of your map? Yes, no? Tell me that you are, otherwise how?
Yes, ma'am. It's
Okay.
coming.
So what the next step you have to do, you have to select to add grid. Like select this, add a new grid, because we don't have a grid right over here. So we are going to add a grid. So as soon as we click on this add new grid, our modify grid tab will be like activated. So click on that, So when you click on the modify grid, you get whole lot of, options. Can you all see these modify grid options? Like the
Yes, ma'am.
appearance of your grid you can select.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, okay, fine. So in the grid type, make it keep it as a solid. And then CRS. CRS probably all of you have now that know. CRS stands for Coordinate Reference System. Okay. So coordinate reference system that you need to insert the coordinates, right, in the CRS. So here in the what happens is that though in the GIS we use the UTM, but in the grids, when we project, we prefer it in the degree, minutes, seconds mode, right? So we click over here to the CRS selection. Then we uncheck this use map CRS. Okay, it says the modify grid from grid type, select frame and annotation only in the drop down menu. So grid type, so we get frame and annotation only in the drop down menu. Okay. Then what does it says? That it says, by default, the grid lines use the same unit and projection, just what I mentioned to you right now. And projection as the currently selected map projection. However, it is more common and useful to display grid lines on the degree, minutes, seconds in the DMS format. Since the projection of this map is in UTM, we need to change the CRS. To do that, click on the Change CRS button against the CRS. So CRS over here, use the map CRS. No, we are going to change the CRS. As you can see, project CRS, default CRS, all these things it is showing. So we are going to this one, coordinate reference system selector, and uncheck this map series. Okay, because we are going to show it through the DMS. In the CRS window will open. Against filter, type 4326 WGS 84 under geographic coordinate system will appear. Click OK. Okay, so 4326. That's what you need to type over here. This is the WGS 84 geographic coordinate system, as you can see over here. So we click the OK. So the map series is now changed to the geography. The advantage of geographic is that we are going to show the coordinate in the DMS. Okay. Has everyone been able to follow this one?
Ma'am, trying, ma'am, once again.
ठीक है. Okay. I'm giving you 2 minutes. I will come back after 2 minutes. Okay, now did you able to do that?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay.
Ma'am, I
Fine.
have a doubt.
Yes, please.
Ma'am, this coordinate system what we are using as CPSG 4326 WGS 84, is this the same for every map what we are doing, ma'am?
Yeah,
We
if
have
it
to follow the
is
same.
like, 1 minute, give me 1 minute. Yeah, it is like in the GIS, WGS 84 is the data. Probably sir has explained to you. There are two kind of reference we use in the GIS. One is vertical, another is horizontal. Okay, so the vertical is WGS 84. It's the World Geodetic System. WGS stand for. And regarding the horizontal reference system, that is, we in the GIS we use UTM, Universal Transverse Marker. The unit is in the meter.
Yes, ma'am.
But here we are converting it to the geographic coordinate system, because we want to display the latitude longitude in a degree minute second system. Okay, so it is
Okay.
not something common for every map. It's depend from person to person, like objective of that particular map, what you would like, what you are
So
trying to
if
show, all that thing.
If it is distance based, then we'll go for that UTM zone option. And if it is kind of location based, then we can go for this
Hey, I
WGS84.
mean, not exactly that. In the GIS, we always go for the UTM.
Okay,
The
okay.
geographic coordinate system is that if we want to display the coordinates in the degree
Coordinate
system.
system. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, because what happens in the UTM, you guys yourself can try it. Like I changed the CRS, you can
Mm.
keep the map, map CRS. And
Mm.
if you keep that, what happened in the UTM is that it will show in terms of the several numbers, how many meters from in the northing and easting. The
Okay,
UTM
okay.
is take 0 for the
Mm-hmm.
equator, and the
Mm-hmm.
north and south, you go far from the equator, it will show in that
Distance.
meter.
Okay,
So
okay.
sometimes for us, because we are not familiar seeing that, so in the meter coordinate is sometimes it not very understandable to a commoner.
Mm-hmm.
We are
Yes, ma'am.
more familiar with degree, minute, second system.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
so that
Ma'am,
is
one.
why I was doing here that.
Mm. Ma'am,
And
one more
you,
doubt,
that is very
ma'am.
good question, and you yourself can try one
Yes,
with
ma'am. I will.
WGS and another with a, projected coordinate system, that is
Yes,
the
ma'am.
UT, and
Ma'am,
see
one more.
what is the difference.
Yes, ma'am. One more doubt, ma'am. I have downloaded some maps for my reference. So, how do I know that which coordinate system it has been following?
Those are uh, those are just the hard copy map which have been in the PDF or something like that.
No, ma'am. Images only.
Oh, images. It is very difficult to know
Okay.
which coordinate if it is not written.
Okay. Okay. Yes, ma'am. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Anything else? Any other doubt or concerns or anything? No? Okay. So otherwise every one of you have to follow this part of changing the CRS. And then there is the map unit. We want to use the interval as the map unit. And then XY interval, we make it a 0.1 degree of interval. You can do trial and error, and you can put different intervals and see what's there for yourself. And then what we'll do is that expand the properties of frame, select exterior trick against the frame style. So now frame and frame style, we select the exterior ticks. Okay. And then what we are supposed to do is that make sure to check the box for the draw coordinates. So frame style, exterior ticks, and draw coordinate. This one you have to check. So as soon as you can all see, as soon as we check that, all the coordinates that appear around the map. Can you all see that? How the coordinates have been added to the map?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All of you being able to do that? See, this is in the degree minute. Uh, uh, so if we check that and make it in the 0.2 degrees interval, we will see that the number of coordinate has been lessened, which is kind of we would rather prefer. We don't want to clutter our map with too many coordinates. Just we want them to be in the uh, in just a reference so that people can use the reference and understand it. Okay, format under the draw coordinate. See, now it is in the decimal. We call it a decimal degree. It is not in the degree minute second. As you can all, I believe, see it in your map. If I zoom in, see, it is in the decimal degrees, 22.800. So we can make it in the degree minute second with suffix. So if we do it, so it's under the draw coordinates, format, and degree minute second with suffix. So you get this degree minute second and with, you know, north and east, all these over here from the longitude, for the longitude it is east. Can you all do this? Did you all able to do this?
Yes, ma'am.
So now what is that? That we have added the grid, right? So what would be the next step? Keep, you know, pressing on the save button from time to time. Now it says that under the font, click on the configure format. So it will let you to configure the font also, like this here, the font. And if you click the triangle over here, then the configure format. And it will let you to configure the format, like from the style and from the size and from the font. Generally in the map, we always use, in the GIS, we always use Arial font. So because Arial font is kind of with a very less curves, as you all, most of you are architect and you understand these. So it is much more readable by others. The yesterday I was talking about universal accessibility, right? So this Arial font is also universally readable, irrespective of the eyesight and all that thing. So these we settled on the grid, and now we kind of move on to adding other elements, right? So the next step would be adding the north line, and that's also very important for a map to have a proper orientation, and it is pretty simple. Go to the add item and then add a north arrow. Add item, add a north arrow, and then you had this, you know, the cross here. You just holding the left key, left mouse button, you just draw a rectangle. So you'll be seeing that a north arrow is added. It also added in the list of your, you know, legend, the north arrow. Okay. So you can select it from here. You can select it from the legend. I selected from the north in the map itself. So if it is a north arrow and we select it, I can see all the item properties. So I can change the fill color. So I change it to the black, you know, because in the planning, we always show the north arrow in the most unglamorous way. So it is you know, north field with black color, and you can choose any other color if you want to. There is nothing. So it's a black field color north arrow. Okay. As all of you have been able to add this north arrow to your map, let me know.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. Okay, so after adding the north arrow, what would be our next step? Our next step would be scale bar we already added, and then to adding a title. Title of the map is very important. So it is also pretty simple. It is like I add item and then add label. So I go in the print composer in the main menu bar, add item and add label over here. So I then again holding the left mouse key, I draw a rectangle, and then I get a box on the right hand side to write my title. Right? Can you all see this box?
The box is visible.
Yeah. So you write the title you want to put. Like I want to put title indoor map. Okay. And I can change. Obviously, a title should be something which will be much more visible than these. So the font need to be a larger and with the proper font size. So if I click under the appearance, if I click this black triangle, what I get is the configure format. And here in the font, I choose obviously the Arial, like here, and then the size I choose is the 22, or you may choose 24, and I click OK. So I get a pretty big title of my choice. You can play with other things like the position and the margin, horizontal, vertical margin, all of that. Let me know if you are done adding title to your map. I chose it like 22. If it is too small, if it seems to you, you can choose other font size too, right? Make it a little bigger. An example like configure format, and I can choose something like 28 or something like that, probably. Now it become pretty big. Did you able to add the map title in your map?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, it's pretty easy, isn't it? Yeah. So the next will be the adding of the legend. Legend is very important because legend actually gives the idea what your map is having, all the elements and all the those stuffs. So the legend have give you that idea. So what we'll do is that we go to the main menu and then add item, add legend. It will be the same process. So, but we don't really have much space to add the legend actually. So we are going to move this content a little bit so that we have a space to have that legend added, right? So add item and then add legend is the same process, just holding the left mouse key, draw the rectangle, and your legend is now added. So, if you want something to be excluded, you don't want to, when we make maps, we do have lot of layers, right? But it is not necessary that to show all of those things in the legend. So we actually can do that. How to do that? I'm going to show you. First, we put a title of that legend by telling it is a legend, right? So you can see the title over here. It is coming as, so it's showing it is a legend. Second is that legend items. If you scroll down, and if you uncheck the auto update, you get the flexibility of adding the legend and deducting the legend itself. So suppose I want to show only the indoor boundary, not all these. I just click one by one and I click on this minus sign. So you can see that these items are being disappearing from my legend. I just want to have Tahsil and the indoor boundary, and this indoor WGS I don't want to appear over here. Only railway track, roads, and the places. Only these things. Okay. Can you all see these and modify these legend items? Let me know. Have you been able to do this? And then we can actually change the legend fonts because it seems so small. So we change the font, the title font, that the legend name itself. Like if you want to make it a bigger, you can bigger it without actually opening the configure format. You can change the font size from here itself. Okay, and then group heading, I want to make it a little bit bigger. I don't have any group heading. Subgroup heading, item font. Yes, I want to make this item font bigger. So it's right now 12 and now I make it 16. So it's kind of pretty much readable. And I want to add a frame around it. So I scroll down and check against the frame. So you can see here that how nicely my legend have been prepared with the legible font size and all that. So I'm giving you like 2 minutes to explore the different aspects of the legend, make the item font size bigger, and to make font the items subtract or add any item if I want. And you can also change the names, like here it is places. If I want to make it, these places are like heritage or tourism places, you can write it over here. It does not matter whether you have not wrote it in your layers, but you can write it over here, and so that way it will appear in your legend. And this is particularly useful in the cases like sometimes what is that is we create buffers for road and all that stuff. The layers have name road buffers and all that. But in the legend, we want them to appear to be mentioned as a road only. So those things also, you can change.
Ma'am, actually, that subtraction thing I'm not getting. If I select some content in the legend,
Yeah, there are some, you are not finding it, or you are asking why do we need to do that?
if I select the TESOL
Yeah,
titles or something,
yeah.
so when I select it, it gets highlighted, but below the thing we have certain plus minus symbols.
Yeah, this minus sign, if you click, so
No,
see
it's
the
not
Tehsil
getting
application.
highlighted.
Huh?
That symbols are not getting highlighted now.
Oh, did you check off this auto update?
Oh,
You need
it's
to
it's
check that
it's
off.
on. It's on. Okay, okay.
Yeah,
Sorry.
check that
Now,
off. Then
yes,
at the
yes,
bottom, all these will be, accessible to you, all these
yes, ma'am. It's
buttons.
on it. Thank you.
Let me know when you are done. I'm giving you 2 minutes, okay? So did you able to do it? All of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. So after we add the legend, the only thing that is remained, that is the adding key map. Now, adding key map is something that we have to, compose it separately. And how we can do it, that I do have a map of, India in a shape file. And please use a proper map. Or what you can do is that if you have a good image, don't take any Indian map randomly from the internet, because obviously those maps will not be correct. Okay, so make sure in the most what my experience is, students randomly pick up map from the internet, and then there is like half of the Jammu and Kashmir is missing, and that is not politically correct map. And if you are presenting that map in any kind of in a governmental program or presentation, then you will be in the big soup. Okay, and you are not supposed to publish also using that map. If you do, then you'll be in trouble. So what I would suggest, that I don't know whether Sailesh sir has already told you about those sites where you can get authentic data, the shape files ready-made. Um, but if you want that, I can share the map with you. No problem, that shape file I do have. I will give it to the Ardhana ma'am so she can distribute. So the India map I was talking about is like this one. So this one, as you can see, and when you prepare a key map in the GIS, make sure that only the things are visible, only those things you want to show, they are clearly visible. There is no way of, there is no need of making fancy maps or all that stuff with all the colors. We primarily focus that it should have the things that it should. What I mean to say, it should have this location of Indore within Madhya Pradesh and location of Madhya Pradesh state within India. That's the objective. So what we do over here, that we make this map first of all hollow, and only the boundary and should be the visible, and we will thicken the boundary. So we make this map hollow, and with the stroke width we are going to increase. So this map become hollow and pretty, the boundary of the states become pretty visible. Now what we can do is that we can add, that Indore boundary in this map. Indore municipal boundary. Oh, you don't have Indore municipal boundary, you have Tehsil boundary. Okay. So we add it, Tehsil boundary. So you can see it is not so visible. So what I do is that I right click on that to open the properties, and I make the fill as a very red color, And I also, because this key map will be very small in size, always keep that in mind. Maybe the line width increase, if you do it, it looks pretty ugly, but it does not matter because it will appear so small. Um, so what I'm trying to do is that to make it bigger in the red, so that it kind of, appear in the bigger size. So you can see it's pretty much visible now, the Indore Tehsil. And now what we can do is that using the same process, we can bring this key map in the layout format, right? And there is add map. Okay. So what if we make this size a little bit bigger? That's too big. And then 2, and we make it as a 1. So it's, pretty. So now that our key map is ready, you can add, scale in this map also. There is no problem with that. It is kind of recommended, but what happens is that in my point of view, that this map will appear so small because it has to be where only this key map supposed to be a very small. So the scale does not mean anything. I mean, it does not remain very visible in your main map. So now that your key map is ready, you can go to the layout and export as an image. Okay. So I have already a key map. So I put it a key map 1 name and save. So now in this, my main map, Indore map, I add the key map as I add item, add picture, and then I draw a triangle. So now that in the picture, what I will do is that I select the radio button against raster and browse to my folder where I kept that key map 1. I select that and see it appeared in my main map. And as I was telling you, it's so small. Okay. So yeah. So I could have make it a little bit bigger to it appears to be bigger. So it like if I put 0, it move bigger. If I put 3 over here, so it gets bigger. So in this way, actually you can do several trial and error and find it out how to make a good key map. So now that your map is composed with all the map elements, what were there, we just check the list, and we do have scale, we do have the legend, and then title, then legend, then key map, everything, orientation, and the graphical grid. So see this key map, your key map should be like this type of visible map. We can, you can play around it and try to find out way to make your key map more legible. And one thing is to remember that we don't put anything like for the sake of putting it. Legibility is the most important thing. If it is not, legible, there is no way of, no reason of putting it over here. So what now that our map is ready and we can first click on the save button and then go to the layout and then export as a PDF or export as an image, and then we any type, whatever the type is convenient to you, and it is then ready to print. Okay. Is there any confusion at any step, or reclarification is needed? Is there anything like that? Anything that you want explanation for? No? Okay. So,
No, ma'am, it's clear.
yes,
Thank you so much, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
you are welcome. Okay. So, I think tomorrow is the last date. And do you have any presentation or anything that you have to do?
Yes, ma'am.
We have
Tomorrow
a
is the
test.
last day. There is no presentation, I think. But yes, as Meena has said, there is a test, I think.
Okay. Okay, so today this is my last interaction with you guys, and I believe that I have been able to make you understand whatever task I was given to. So it was
Yes,
yeah,
it was
thank
very
you.
nice presentation, ma'am. Even yesterday's lecture was also very good, and today also we got to know about how to give a better map composition, because that is also an important aspect
Yeah,
once you have done the research.
yeah.
So with practice, I think we all will be able to do it. And
Good.
if we have some query, I think can we call you or at
Yeah,
some time?
just shoot me email. I believe you have my email ID. So if
Yes,
you have any queries, you can always email me
right,
about anything.
right, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am, for
Thank
this
you,
session.
ma'am. So can I leave now?
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Oh, you're welcome.
So thank you all participants. Tomorrow will be the last day of this training program. Most probably it will start at 10:30 a.m. tomorrow. I will further place the message in your WhatsApp group also about tomorrow's session. So do join tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. Thank you very much, all of you.
Thank you, ma'am.